So I saw the Moody Blues last week, and Jojo's Bizarre Adventure fucking lied to me. They weren't dummy thick. 0 out of 10. Okay, all joking aside, I really did go to a concert last week, and while it technically wasn't the band the Moody Blues, since they really aren't a band anymore, it was the lead singer who's named Justin Hayward, and he was performing Moody Blues songs with a couple of his own songs, and I just wanted to make a short video to talk about my experience. So most shows that I'm used to going to would be big stadium shows. As an example, when I saw Kiss, Elton John, Queen, Iron Maiden. This was a much smaller venue. This was at the Whitaker Center in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and was actually the first night of his new tour, which I thought was really cool. The venue itself was very, very small. It looked very similar to some sort of children's museum. I'm not quite sure what it actually is, but I believe it's like a family children's center at times, or for certain events. Like they had like gift shops, and it looks like exhibits that were around, but of course I couldn't see any of those. And when we got there, it was a very small venue. It reminded me very much of like a middle school auditorium with like a balcony, and there were box seats on the side, so much nicer than a middle school, of course. But it did have this atmosphere that was a bit more intimate, and I liked it since it was different than what I'm used to, especially with all the shows I've seen this year so far. Now, there was an opening act who was also a musician that was a part of the group that was playing with Justin Hayward when they were doing the Moody Blues songs. The guy's name was Mike Doss, and this guy was amazing. So he had a guitar, right? But what he was doing, he was playing 4 different parts of like a song on one guitar. It was crazy. So there would be like the guitar part, there would be the bass part, there would be the drum parts, which you would get by like tapping the guitar and like hitting it lightly, and then there would be the melody part. So as an example, he played Somebody That I Used to Know, and he played the whole song like by himself. Like it was, I can't do a good job describing it, but it was awesome. He was a very entertaining individual, and I actually got to get a cool picture with him that I'll show you here. And he was like really, really friendly. I like when musicians are very down to earth and just, you know, very, very friendly people. Now, I will say you most likely haven't heard of him yet, so if you could, what I would recommend would be to go ahead and check out some of his music. His music's very, very entertaining. It's him playing guitar by himself, but it sounds like it's like a group of people. It's really cool. He's very talented, and I hope to see him in more things. You know, hopefully he gets some good work from the show, and yeah. And so now we get to the big show, the Moody Blues, the JoJo's reference that we've all been waiting for. It was not a rock and roll concert like I'm used to. You know, there wasn't like headbanging and screaming and stuff. It was very subtle and very, very sweet. The crowd was pretty much people in their like 60s and 70s. I brought my mother with me because she always wanted to see the Moody Blues before. And I think I was the youngest person there. There might have been a child or two that went with their parents, but I was fairly young. You know, I was a bit surprised, and I was like, wow, I'm the youngest one in the room. But with that gave it a bit more of a classier feel. Like, I'm not saying that shows that I haven't seen before are classy, but like with Queen as an example, there's a lot of screaming, a lot of yelling, a lot of clapping and moving around and dancing. Whereas this, it was much more of like, you know, sit down and enjoy the show. Now, to be fair, I did sing along with the songs. You know, I always do that at concerts. What can I say? I like to have a good time, and I paid for my ticket too. But it was a lot of fun. He played, of course, Nights in White Satin, Questions, Forever Autumn. He played a bunch of hits from himself and then from the Moody Blues. And some of the songs were cut a bit short. I know that some of the songs have a bit more like orchestral intros and outros and stuff like that. So for songs that would be a bit lengthy like that, normally he would cut it down, so it gave a bit more of a more personal touch, I would say so. If you have not listened to the Moody Blues before, I would highly recommend that you do, or at least check out like a greatest hits album. Maybe not go through everything, but it's very chill music. It's very calming and relaxing. It kind of reminds me of Simon and Garfunkel, but not quite as pretty vocally, but very beautiful musically with like, you know, flute solos, keyboard, piano, synthesizer, all these different mediums that they had gone through over the years. It's very sweet, and I really enjoyed the show. And being as one of my mom's favorite bands, she enjoyed the show too. And of course, you know, if I could take her to a show she hadn't seen before, I'll gladly do it. and that really really brought a smile to my face as well. So if you weren't familiar with the new tour, I would recommend going to see it if it's coming in your area. Tickets are probably still available, and they are very cheap. I got mine fairly last minute, and I paid the the door price at about $50, which is pretty good for the show that you're going to get. So if you're a fan of the Moody Blues or just in Hayward, or you just want a really nice chill concert to go to, I would highly recommend going to check him out. And seriously though, please check out Mike Dawes' music. It is awesome. You will love it. I promise. I would play some for you, but I don't want to get copyright struck, so you just got to trust me on this one. I know I haven't uploaded quite so much recently. I had a bit of a head cold, so that was kind of messing me up. And I wanted to take my content in a bit of a new direction. I was thinking about doing more vocal pieces, more like reading works with like editing, like I did with the Edgar Allan Poe one. From what I saw, well, the views weren't like significant for the Edgar Allan Poe piece. The audience retention for that was fairly high. So if I think that might be a direction I'm looking to go to. Now, I will still do concert reviews and game reviews and movie reviews as I do see fit. So I'm not getting rid of those entirely. But I think the main focus on my channel now is going to be working on these vocal pieces. Also, on a side note, I do kind of miss doing theater stuff, and while I am working on a show, I kind of have that itch of doing more. So I think I'll be working more vocally, maybe not just for content, but I think for just personal practice, so I can expand my range and keep on top of my game too. So if you like that kind of content, I hope you like it. Please let me know if there's something that you want me to read or something that you want me to review. Maybe I'll get around to it. Well, anyway, thank you so much for sticking around to hear this little addendum at the end here. But yes, I'll see you guys in the next one.